So, a few days ago, the WNBA announced new rule changes for the upcoming 2023 season. With less than 2 weeks until opening day, I just thought I'd go through them real quick and, give my thoughts on them. There are only four of them, so I'm not going to take up too much of your time with my stupid analysis here. We got coaches' challenges, transition take fouls, resumption of play procedures, and bench conduct rules. So, let's take it from the top, starting with the biggest one, the coaches' challenge. The coach's challenge will allow a team one challenge per game, including overtime, regardless of whether the challenge is successful. A team can use this challenge to trigger an instant replay review of a called foul on their own, a called out of bounds violation, or a called goaltending basket interference violation. A coach's challenge is now the only mechanism to trigger a replay review of an out of bounds violation at any point in the game. To initiate a challenge, a team must immediately call a legal full timeout, and the head coach will provide the visual sign for a challenge. If a team attempts to challenge an event with no remaining timeouts, the team is charged with an excessive timeout, for which the penalty is a technical foul and no challenge will take place. If a team calls a timeout to challenge an event that may not be reviewed, the team will be charged a timeout but retain its challenge. As with other replay reviews, in order to overturn the event as called on the floor, there must be clear and conclusive visual evidence that the call was correct. Every challengeable event will have their own unique set of reviewable matters for consideration. Okay, I like the new rules here. One challenge per game, regardless of whether it's successful or not, and I particularly like the protocols based on remaining timeouts and challenges. The coaches do get some leeway, but not without a cost. I give this an up. Transition take foul. Beginning in 2023, a heightened penalty will be imposed when a defensive player commits a transition take foul. The modified rules regarding transition take fouls will lead to improved game flow and increased fast break scoring opportunities, while still allowing strategic take fouls in the last 2 minutes of the fourth or in all overtime periods. The offensive team will be awarded one free throw, which may be attempted by any player on the floor at the time the foul is committed. The offensive team will retain possession of the ball, and the defensive player who commits the foul will be assessed a common personal foul. The primary factor to determine if a foul constitutes a take foul is whether the defender made a legitimate play on the ball. Other relevant factors include whether the defender gives up on the play or the defender is simply out of position and unable to make a legal play on the ball or offensive player. You know, in other sports where a rule change is made specifically for the sole purpose of increasing scoring or increasing flow or, something similar to that, I usually don't care for it. Like baseball with banning the shift, or hockey with loosening up the rules for offsides and making goalie pads smaller. Generally, I find them really unnecessary. But at least the possession rules seem fair, so I guess this one's okay. I mean, I still give it a down, but it's not as bad as it could be, I guess. Resumption of play rules have been modified such that, if applicable in connection with a coach's challenge or any call treated as an inadvertent whistle, such as a shot clock violation overturned by a replay review initiated by the on-court officials, possession will be awarded to the team that clearly and conclusively would have gained possession at the time of the whistle. If this standard is not met, play will be resumed through a jump ball. Two factors are relevant to determine whether a team clearly and conclusively would have immediately gained possession of the ball at the time of the whistle: the proximity of the opposing players to the ball and the actual outcome of the play in the neutral and immediate aftermath of the whistle. I can be okay with this. Whatever happened or would have happened, that's essentially going to be continued after an inadvertent whistle. I'm not mad at it. And finally, bench conduct. New rules are in place to reduce disruptions and distractions during live play. Specifically, players not in the game may not remain standing at or away from their team's bench during the game for a prolonged period, and along with coaches are prohibited from attempting to distract their opponents in an unsportsmanlike manner. Violations are subject to penalties. Okay, I'm all for good sportsmanship, but I don't necessarily think that this is the best way to go about it. I guess it just depends on what exactly is being focused on here. If we're talking about taunting or just, being a dick while on the sidelines, okay, fine, penalize the hell out of that. But if you're just showing some enthusiasm, being excited for your teammates, I don't know, that's hardly a reason to break out the anti-fun police, And on top of that, the referees, they have a hard enough time seeing everything on the court. And now they're expected to keep eyes on the bench too. I mean, unless it's particularly egregious, I honestly don't give a damn what happens on the bench, and really neither should anybody else. So this one is, I don't know, I could leave it. I think it's unnecessary, but I guess we'll see how it plays out here. So there it is. I'm about half and half on how I feel about the new rules. I don't think it'll be all that detrimental, and I'm pretty sure the good will outweigh any bad, especially the coach's challenge. That was a very long time coming, but better late than never, right? I still cannot wait for the new season, and whenever something big like this breaks, I'll definitely be here to talk about it. And of course, if you're an Atlanta Dream fan, I'm going to have a reaction after every single game. So go ahead and consider subscribing if you're a member of Dream Nation. And whatever happens in the meantime, I hope I'll see you then.